In this video, we will introduce the prep for the new AI-300 Machine Learning Operations, MLOps, engineer. What is AI-300? Operationalizing Machine Learning and Generative AI Solutions. Who is the AI-300 for? Exam AI-300. Evolution from DP100. Exam AI-300. Key details. Skills measured in Exam AI-300. Recommended study strategies for exam success. 1. You need to standardize how Fabricam Inc. manages machine learning assets. Which action should you perform first? A. Register assets in the Azure Machine Learning Registry. B. Create a shared Azure Machine Learning workspace. C. Deploy a managed online endpoint. D. Create a new Microsoft Foundry project. 2. You train models on GPU-enabled clusters but deploy them on CPU-based endpoints. Recently, inference failures occur due to incompatible dependencies. What should you do to ensure consistency? A. Increase endpoint compute size. B. Define and reuse environment configurations. C. Use same compute for training and inference. D. Use batch endpoints. 3. During training, pipelines occasionally fail due to schema mismatch caused by upstream data changes. You need a robust and automated solution that prevents invalid data from reaching training steps. What is the best approach? A. Retrain manually when failure occurs. B. Add a data validation component in pipeline. C. Use larger compute. D. Ignore schema differences. 4. You need to isolate training workloads while remaining cost-aware to address Fabricam Inc.'s issues, constraints, and technical requirements. What should you implement? A. Training jobs that run on a single shared compute cluster. B. Fixed-size compute cluster. C. Dedicated compute clusters per experiment. D. Managed compute targets with autoscaling. 5. Your team needs to securely connect Azure Machine Learning to an Azure Data Lake without exposing credentials in code. Which solution should you use? A. Store credentials in environment variables. B. Use SAS tokens embedded in scripts. C. Use managed identity authentication for data store. D. Download data locally before training. 6. A team is deploying machine learning models to a production inference endpoint in Azure Machine Learning. The team requires a safe way to validate a new model version without disrupting existing users. You need to recommend a deployment strategy for controlled testing of a new model version. What should you configure? A. Traffic splitting between deployments. B. The model asset version in the registry. C. Deployment to a separate staging endpoint. D. An evaluation script in Azure Machine Learning. 7. You manage an Azure Machine Learning workspace. You develop a machine learning model. You must deploy the model to use a low-priority VM with a pricing discount. You need to deploy the model. Which compute target should you use? A. Azure Container Instances, ACI. B. Azure Machine Learning Compute Clusters. C. Local Deployment. D. Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS. 8. A team manages an Azure Machine Learning workspace where they deploy models to online endpoints. The team needs to introduce a new version of a model to production without disrupting existing users. The team must validate the new version before full rollout. You need to reduce risk during deployment. What should you do? A. Deploy the model to a batch endpoint. B. Split traffic between deployments. C. Replace the existing endpoint. D. Route all traffic to the new deployment. 9. You are fine-tuning a base language model to analyze customer feedback. You label examples of support tickets. You must improve classification accuracy by configuring and fine-tuning the base model in Microsoft Foundry. You need to configure and run fine-tuning. What should you do first? A. Use prompt flow to generate multiple prompt templates for evaluation. B. Deploy the base model to an online endpoint before starting fine-tuning. C. Enable tracing for all inference calls in the evaluation pipeline. D. Format the dataset as a JSONL file with prompt completion pairs and upload the file. 10. You need to deploy a foundation model with minimal infrastructure management. What should you use? A. Self-hosted GPU cluster. B. Serverless API endpoint. C. Manual deployment. D. Local machine. Check the correct answer for each question. Subscribe Passert for more IT exam prep.